Welcome everybody, Don Giannetti, lighting-essentials.com, project52prosystem.com. This is number 6 in my ongoing series of what makes this photograph great, what makes this photo great. We're looking at a couple of images per photographer, and we're looking at photographers in the business sense of the industry. We're not looking at, quote, art photography right now. We're looking at commercial editorial photographers who paved the way for a lot of us in commercial photography to do work that was beyond just taking a picture of a toaster on a white background. Well, this guy, Pete Turner, I mean, what can you say about Pete Turner? He started photography when he was 14 years old. He's considered one of the masters of color photography, especially learning to process film and rephotograph film on different emulsions to achieve an amazing color palette. This is all pre-Photoshop. This is work right out of cameras, even though he would use multiple processes to get the colors that he wanted. He wanted vibrant, splashy, bright, incredible color, and he achieved it. Pete Turner led the way for a lot of color photography, and I think he's one of the best photographers of our day. Now, Pete left us a few years ago, but his work is still here and remembered by a lot of people. And I think we're going to look at a picture right here of a tree and some mountains and a sky. And that's not Photoshop, folks. That's a slide, or a transparency, as we in the business would call it. That's a 35 millimeter transparency. Most of what Pete Turner shot was on a 35 millimeter camera. I'm going to say mostly Nikon, because every time I saw him, he had a Nikon around his neck. I didn't know him personally, I mean photographs of him. He worked for the Army as a photographer, and when he got out of that, he joined with a company that was kind of like Magnum the early days. They sent them out on assignments, and one of his very first assignments was to go to Africa and make some incredible photographs. So you can see this incredibly bright, colorful photograph right in front of you. We'll talk a little bit more about the Africa shot coming up. Pete discovered this volcano, long exposure, tripod, of course, getting all the color from this thing, and then doing work in the dark room in the processing of it to even get more of the color. Don't you just love the way the light just it's right here. The blue is so dominant all the way through, and then to have that light just come right out of the middle there. Look at the composition. Look at if you want to talk rule of thirds, look at the rule of thirds. A third and a third. Look at the rule of thirds here. Boom, boom. I mean, it's just beautifully composed. Now, I'm not a big lover of the rule of thirds, but it certainly works in a lot of cases. And in this particular case, it works beautifully. I love all the color. Just really, really exciting here. Pete was known for abstracts as well. This is one that I really like. I believe this was Morocco, but don't take that to the bank. The black bird right here on the ledge, and then all those other shapes here. It's almost a Mondrian in a way, just shapes of color, design all the way through. It's just, what do you say about a shot like this? Once in a lifetime kind of thing. Great shot by Pete Turner. Pete experimented with lots of lenses, long lenses, wide lenses. I think he pioneered the wide lens pretty darn well, and also the super telephoto, and of which I think this is a long lens. Now he grabbed a wide lens for this one, which is a bowling ball on a white building, but look at the design. He's got this ball here. He's got another one back there. The vertical lines aren't purely vertical. They're kind of bending in a little bit because these are early lenses. Nikon 35, they had a little bit of a curve to them. What do you do? Isn't it? Or I didn't say bowling ball, I meant cannonball. I'm so sorry, not a bowling ball, a cannonball. And you can see how he's manipulated the color, whether he's using color gels in front of the lens or gels in front of the printing lens or filters in the printing of it, or even down to what chemistry they use to process the film. Pete wanted something specific and always got it. I told you that he went to Africa, and in Africa made this photograph, which was something that helped his career go, and that is this galloping giraffe across the playa. Now, I haven't been to Africa, and I certainly wouldn't be an expert in Africa, but I don't think they have red skies and purple dirt in Africa. This is Pete Turner's domain. The shot was overexposed, so he brought it back, processed it, rephotographed it, processed it, rephotographed it until he got exactly the color he wanted. And ended up being a album cover shot for a jazz artist. He started working with a jazz producer and doing, I don't know how many hundreds of albums. Well, at least 100. Let's put it that way. At least 100. And Creed Taylor, the jazz producer, just fell in love with Pete's work. Sometimes he would commission him, which would be great for Pete, make some money. And sometimes he would buy an image out of Pete's, very extensive catalog of images. This was an album cover. This was an album cover that was incredible. This was taken literally on the side of the road. Pete stopped. He was going from point A to point B with his assistant, and he stopped and he got out and he made this photograph with a 20 millimeter wide angle lens. Had his assistant go forward with the car so he could get that little bit of headlights there. And can't you see the image without it? And it doesn't work. It's so static without it. It's still a great shot without it. Don't get me wrong. But those red taillights just add a little bit of a punctuation at the end. Some of you might be saying, well, I've seen that shot before. Yes, you have. The cover of Wes Montgomery's Road Song. The designer saw the shot. Graphic artist saw the shot. They said, we're going to put it on the album cover. And true to form, with most of the graphic artists and designers I've worked for, true to form, they had to flip it, do something to it. So this is his image flipped, a little bit of other stuff done to it, and became Wes Montgomery's Road Song cover. He did a lot of covers for Creed Taylor. One of the things I think that really just sparked my interest so much in Pete Turner was how he could take the mundane and make something interesting out of it with color. Here's a couple of garage walls, these little parking garages in some town, maybe LA, whatever, and just catching the color, the blue, the orange, the white, the yellow, and the dark orange, which is the shadow of this one coming across and going up the white or the yellow wall. I mean, it's just amazing, you know. It's just like to see this kind of stuff, and to know that this was, this was Pete Turner's art, was to see the world, the color that was there, and to present it back to us in a way that we maybe have never seen before. Pete was remarkable. Pete also shot the cover of one of my favorite albums ever, is Coltrane's self-named album. And again, you can see the use of color and design and his long lens with the blurry, soft focus thing going on here. It's just a hell of a shot. John Coltrane's self-named album for Impulse called Coltrane. I'm going to end up the little talk here about Pete Turner with a shot of a Cadillac tail fin. Now, as I said, this is pre-Photoshop, so there's a lot of things in here. I think today's photographer, today's sensibilities, we'd probably clean up the chrome here. We might come down and fix this little stuff here and fix the paint there. And, you know, I mean, this is me critiquing photos over at Project 52 for ads, and we're doing this all the time, and we got to take that dust spot out. Let's even that out. We do all just as a thing. We didn't do it back in 75. This was the world. Pete Turner captured the world. This is a very famous photograph by Pete Turner. Notice there's some reflection coming up from the ground. Notice the bullet tail light being reflected back in the chrome. Great shot. Wonderful photograph. I hope you go and look up some stuff about Pete Turner. I've got a bunch of links down in the bottom and a couple of links to videos about Pete Turner and his use of color. And this is my number 6, what makes this photo great. If you like this stuff, hit the subscribe button. Give me a little love over there. I keep doing this. I'm going to keep doing this. I keep my channel ad free. There's no ads on it. Never going to be. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm a photographer who likes to talk about images. So again, subscribe if you like it. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.